it going, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddison Hill, and yes, it's time for another pop-off with Maddison. For today's pop-off, I'm going to be talking about Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson and Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. Now, full disclosure, I actually intended on this pop-off just being about Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson because what in the actual F is going on? They've had multiple hangouts in a week. We also have this Page 6 report where a source said that Kim likes Pete and is intrigued by him, and then there's also this new E-News report where a source shared that whatever is going on between Pete and Kim is exciting her. Like, what is actually happening? I'm telling you guys, that would have been enough for an entire pop-off, but then I saw this extremely tea-filled report about Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick, about Scott Disick being invited or not invited to Kourtney and Travis's wedding and his reaction to it, plus a little update on how him and Kourtney are doing. So obviously I had to fill you in on that too. Yeah, it's a lot of Kourtney and Kim tea on this Friday, and I know your guys' time is precious when it's about to be the weekend, so I'm not gonna waste any more time and get straight to unwrapping these Kim and Pete and Kourtney and Scott Disick facts. All right, so kicking things off, talking about Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. As you all know, Kim and Pete first made headlines when they shared a little smooch during an SNL skit while Kim was hosting. And on top of that, we also know this is not the first time Kim and Pete have met or hung out. If you remember back in 2019 when this iconic photo surfaced with Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Timothy Chalamet, and of course Pete Davidson, everyone was living for this little boys' night out, and we also know that Kim was there because she's the one who took the photo. Regardless, you get the picture that before this week and even before SNL, Kim and Kanye were actually both friends with Pete Davidson. However, as of this week, it appears as though Kim Kardashian might be looking for more when it comes to her relationship with Pete. And that's because the two have had multiple hangouts in the past week. First, we had their hangout at Knott's Berry Farm last weekend where the two were seen holding hands on a roller coaster. After that photo went viral, multiple sources came out and cleared the air and said that Kim and Pete were just friends and that they were actually invited to the theme park by Kourtney and Travis. Then in the middle of this week, Kim Kardashian flew to New York to accept an award for her work with Skims, and multiple reports stated that Kim was seen leaving her Manhattan hotel to go over to Staten Island, aka Pete Davidson's hometown, for them to have a little secret dinner at one of his favorite Italian restaurants. I don't know why it is so hard for me to picture Kim Kardashian just casually eating dinner with Pete Davidson at an old school Italian restaurant, but it is. Anyway, moving on, then at the end of the week, TMZ once again reported that Kim and Pete were again seen having dinner together. They did arrive to the restaurant separately and they did dine with friends, but still, that's one too many hangouts for people to not start thinking that something is going on with Kim and Pete. And thankfully for us, those closest to Kim are doing the most to get some information out there about her relationship with Pete. For example, in this recent Page 6 report, a source said that Kim, quote, likes Pete and is, quote, intrigued by him. Then we also have this new report from E-News where a source shared that while Kim isn't looking to date someone right now, she's, quote, loving this time in her life and is having a lot of fun. There's no pressure between them. This e-source then continued on saying, quote, Pete is a very chill and casual guy and she likes that. They have plans to see each other again while Kim is in New York City. Whatever is going on between them is exciting to her. This e-source then ended their insider info saying, quote, Kim thinks Pete's hilarious. Pete is quite the charmer and she totally understands the allure. Kim loves that they just laugh the entire time they're together and she is really enjoying hanging out with him. Which, based on what that source is saying, it tells me there's definitely going to be more Kim and Pete hangouts in the future, which obviously I have some thoughts on, but I'm going to pause and let's go ahead and talk about Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. Okay, so as you all know by now, things between Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick have been tense pretty much ever since Kourtney Kardashian started dating Travis Barker. And that tension has only gotten worse between Kourtney and Scott ever since Kourtney and Travis got engaged. And now we have this new report from Life and Style magazine that is spilling some major tea. This Life and Style magazine source shared that Scott, quote, will not be invited to Kourtney and Travis's wedding and that even if he was, he wouldn't go. This source then went on to say, quote, seeing Kourtney walk down the aisle would feel like a dagger in the heart. He'd rather not be there. This source also added that it would be, quote, torture for Scott to be at Kourtney and Travis's wedding. For some reason, I can't lie to you guys, that kind of makes me sad to hear, but on a slightly positive note, we now at least know that Kourtney and Scott are slightly communicating, which is an improvement because after Kourtney and Travis got engaged, we heard that Kourtney and Scott were not talking to one another at all. But now a separate Life and Style magazine source shared, quote, Scott has spoken to Kourtney and they've agreed to be civil for the sake of the kids. So communication is improving, but they're not back to being close, friendly co-parents yet. Okay, so obviously I have a lot of thoughts about all of this and it's almost the weekend, which means I am definitely ready for a shambong. So let's go ahead and just make this pop-off official. Okay, so first of all, when it comes to Kim and Pete, you guys, I said this in my mini pop-off, but I know there was a large majority of people who absolutely stan Pete Davidson and think he is like one of the hottest people to ever walk this earth, but I am not one of them. I have nothing against Pete Davidson. I'm sure he is a lovely guy, but just romantically speaking, he is not my cup of tea. I have felt this way ever since he started dating Ariana Grande. When he got engaged to Ariana Grande, if you ever watched me talk about him at my old job, you know that I literally have never, for some reason, found Pete Davidson attractive. I know he's rumored to have BDE, he's rumored to really be packing something impressive below the belt, but I'm sorry, it's just still not enough for me. So I can't lie to you guys, I am absolutely, positively, completely thrown off by him and Kim's recent hangouts. One, because you guys know that I personally felt like Kim and Kanye were kind of heading towards a reconciliation. Maybe that was just my naive thinking. It probably was. I was trying to manifest it. I really felt like Kim and Kanye were coming to a place where they might get back together. Clearly, I was way off on that one. And also, I never in a million years thought that Kim Kardashian would rebound with somebody like Pete Davidson after her marriage with Kanye. If anything, I thought Kim Kardashian would be stepping out with a successful entrepreneur or someone who really wasn't famous but was really successful in their line of work. I just never in a million bajillion years thought that she would be spotted out with Pete Davidson. Even though part of me is absolutely losing their mind and unable to comprehend this, I do have to remember that at that Keeping Up with the Kardashians reunion with Andy Cohen, Kim talked about her divorce with Kanye, and she also talked about what she's looking in her next relationship. And if you guys remember, she talked about how now she's realized the little things really do matter. She wants someone who spends time with her, someone who makes her laugh. And it kind of sounds like Pete Davidson is kind of fulfilling those roles right now. I know everyone is saying that they're just friends, and I want to say I do believe that. I don't believe that they're seriously dating. I don't believe that they're in a relationship. But what's interesting to me is these sources are kind of making it sound like Kim may or may not be toying with the idea of maybe at some point in the future actually dating Pete Davidson. I don't know. This whole thing is just absolutely crazy to me. I think that Kim is really starting to get her single sea legs back, which as she obviously deserves to do. But I don't know. Personally, I'm just kind of hoping this whole thing with Pete Davidson is a PR stunt. Yeah, no. Kim can take some of the attention back from Kourtney because Kourtney and Travis have really been stealing the Keeping Up with the Kardashian spotlight. So Kim being spotted out with Pete, everybody's talking about it. Everyone's turning heads about it. And Pete can once again be linked to an incredibly beautiful woman that nobody ever thought he would get. So I feel like if this is a PR stunt, Kim and Pete are definitely both getting something positive out of it. I just hope that's where it ends and it doesn't get any more serious than that. Now, as far as Kourtney and Scott are concerned, I don't know why that Life and Style magazine report surprised me so much. I don't know why I'm so surprised that Kourtney would allegedly not invite Scott Disick to her wedding. I know people say it's bad luck to invite your exes to the wedding. I've seen the How I Met Your Mother episode. I definitely know that is a saying, that's a rule of thumb. But I don't know, I just feel like Scott and Kourtney have always maintained such a great friendship, and Scott has always been such an integral part in the Kardashian family that I just thought him going to the wedding was kind of going to be the olive branch that everyone's been looking for, and kind of his way of saying, you know what, I'm happy Kourtney's happy and I'm supportive of this relationship. At the very least, I thought he would go to the wedding to show a united front for his children, to show that he is okay with Kourtney moving on, to show that he is okay with Kourtney marrying Travis, because you have to remember, their kids are getting older, and I feel like they're getting old enough to kind of start to feel like they're being put in the middle between their parents. So if Scott is saying things about Kourtney and Travis, and if Kourtney ever says anything about Scott, I feel like their kids are definitely old enough that they might struggle with which parent they have loyalty to. So I really honestly truly thought Scott Disick would go to the wedding hands down, just at the very least to show his kids that he's okay with Kourtney moving on. But again, you guys know that sometimes I like to live in that naive world, and clearly that is a naive way of thinking if it is already being put out there that Scott Disick will not be invited to the wedding, and even if he was, he wouldn't go. Now, speaking to that point, I also can see why Scott Disick would not want to go. Obviously, Scott has definitely acted inappropriately in the past. He's acted inappropriately not only with Kourtney and Travis, but also with Kourtney and some of her other past relationships. So I definitely understand why people don't empathize with Scott at all, but some part of me does feel a little empathy and sympathy for Scott Disick, because I do imagine it has to be incredibly hard to see the mother of your children, quite possibly the love of your life. I mean, hello, we all know that Scott still loves Kourtney, walk down the aisle to somebody else. I feel like anyone who's even been in the position of you've seen, you know, the one that got away, if you've ever felt that way, you can definitely kind of understand where Scott is coming from. So I do feel for him, but I hope at one point he can kind of work through those feelings. He can work through his negative feelings towards Travis Barker. I really do hope that at some point in the future, Kourtney and Scott can get back to that healthy co-parenting relationship they had before. Do I think they're gonna go on trips like they did before? Probably not, but I at least want them to be friendly and to be able to spend time with one another, and Scott be able to spend time with Kourtney and Travis, and Kourtney and Travis spend time with whoever Scott dates down the line. Hopefully they're age appropriate. I just really hope that at some point Kourtney and Scott can get back to the place that they started. And the last thing I'm gonna say about Scott Disick, you guys know ever since Kourtney and Travis got engaged, I said I have a feeling that Scott Disick is going to do something. I don't know if it's gonna be on social media. I don't know if it's gonna be out in public. I feel like it's definitely either gonna be messy or he's gonna make one last ditch effort to get Kourtney's attention. I feel like he still may or may not do something. So I still think we have to keep our eye on Scott Disick leading up to the wedding. But again, that's just me, and obviously everything I've said is just my own opinions, but now I'm ready to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think about Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. What the heck is going on there? And also, what do you think about Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick? Let out all your thoughts and feels down below. While you guys are at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget that notification bell. For more content, make sure you follow me over on Instagram and TikTok, and of course, don't forget to keep coming back to my channel to check out my YouTube shorts. You guys can also find all of my merch at my merch store at houseofhill.com. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.